can do one more for you. Here's another one off of our set list. You know what? Yeah, I'll do this one. See how country I can get. This is Blake Shelton's version transposed to my version of Old Red. Well, I call my wife and another man, and it cost me $99. On a prison farm in Georgia, close to the Florida line. Well, I've been here for 2 long years. I finally made the warden my friend. So he sentenced me to a life of ease, taking care of old Red. Now old Red, he's the damnedest dog that I've ever seen. He got a nose that can smell a 2-day trail. He's a 4-legged tracking machine. You can't consider yourself mighty lucky to get past the gators in the quicksand beds. But in all these years that I've been here, ain't nobody got past Red. And the warden sang, come on somebody, why don't you run? Old Red's itching to have a little fun. Get my lantern, get my gun, get a heavy tree for the morning comes. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chappy
and Junior.
Thanks for tuning in to Chappy and Junior's podcast.
How are we doing?
I'm good. How was your day?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Got some cleaning around the house?
Yeah, I did a whole lot of work in the heat.
Yeah.
And then it poured, like horrible. Anyway, listen. Right before the live, we're going to have a guest after the break.
We're going to have a break somewhere in here
later. And we're going to have a break. And we decided that, we're going to talk about something that's in the news. Huge in the news.
Huge news right now.
Huge in the news right now. It actually broke out Monday.
Yes.
The news was breaking on Monday, so we waited. We were going to... I had thought about doing it on
my episode.
On your episode, but that's your episode.
Yeah.
So I decided just to hold off till now.
And we looked a little bit at it last night.
Yeah.
But before live, I looked it up in more detail.
Yeah, of what's going on. So, to get you guys out of being in suspense of what we're talking about, we are going to talk about the mystery of why the FBI agents went and decided to raid President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home.
Former President Trump.
Former president.
But still.
He's my president. I don't care what guy is up in office right now. I respect him for being up there, but no, Trump is my president. Remember, we had this conversation last week about the worst and the best president in my lifetime. Yeah, we're talking about both of them right now. Okay, so guys, listen. We're going to read some factual stuff we pulled off the NPR.org website.
They put it up yesterday,
so we're going to read it to you guys today. Like I said, we're pulling back the curtains on this show, and we're going to dive into anything that we find interesting on the interwebs. There's a few reasons why we find this interesting. We don't find it interesting because they went and raided.
No,
we'll get into why we actually find this interesting. So, we're going to read some of this right from the website, and then we're going to give our opinions on this. So, go ahead, Junior.
So, Monday's FBI raid on the home of former President Donald Trump, including his safe, according to Trump, which, that alone, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, I did. That was the first I've heard about that.
Has raised eyebrows and questions about what the search could indicate about a possible criminal investigation into the former president and those around him.
All right. The raid concerned presidential records that Trump removed from the White House when he left office in January. According to Christina Bobb, an attorney representing Trump. The FBI search warrant authorized agents to seize presidential records, or any possible classified material. Bob said in a Tuesday interview with
Dinesh D'Souza? I'm sorry, I'm bad with that.
Sorry, it was on this person's podcast. I didn't. And then the search took about 10 hours. Wow. So that's a long time. Go ahead and continue. Go ahead.
The execution of the search warrant represents a significant escalation in the investigation that the Department of Justice has been quietly working on for months.
All right, so we're gonna scroll. We just kind of want to give you guys the background of what we're talking about. So now,
what were they looking for?
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go into what they were looking for, and basically, they were looking for
15 boxes of presidential documents that were removed from Mar-a-Lago earlier this year.
Yeah. So, basically, it doesn't really say if they found.
No, they're not saying what exactly they found because it's still an ongoing investigation.
Yeah. It says here the Attorney General Merrick Garland confirmed in February the records reportedly included correspondence between Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, or Chung-yu, however you say his name. Sorry, I apologize, sir. I don't want you nuking my house. Along with a letter addressed to Trump, written by outgoing President Barack Obama. Okay, so now listen. This is where I wanted to kind of talk. They're basically looking for stuff that Trump personally interacted with
and removed.
Is what they're looking for. Okay. Now, what we're going to dive into, we all know that, even though he was president, he's now former president.
And he's considered a citizen.
He's now returned to citizenship.
Yes.
So they have all legal rights to go get a warrant and go into this man's house. They have all that legal right. That's not what is in question here. What we want to talk about, scroll back up for 1 second. Up. You're going the wrong way. That's down. Guys,
we're already past this.
Okay. Well,
I've needed to get.
Yeah. Keep going. And we're gonna go. Okay, you wanted to talk about the next part.
Yes, it did. So, who would have had to sign off on it? On the search of the house?
Yeah.
On paper, the standards of federal search warrants are the same for former presidents as they are for ordinary citizens, as he is considered currently.
Yes.
Practically speaking, such a politically sensitive search would have had to have been approved at the very highest levels of the federal justice system.
Yeah.
So, they literally would have had to go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And they passed it for the search. And they passed it for the search, which means they had to have had some substantial evidence, reasoning.
Now, this is where it kind of gets me. The next part says that the White House had no idea that they were doing this. I'm sorry, if you're going to the federal government and getting the Supreme Court to get a warrant for your former president, how does the White House not know about that?
Right, like this is literally from here. The White House says it was not involved in the raid.
I understand they weren't directly involved. They weren't involved, but how did they not know?
The president and the White House learned about this FBI search from public reports. We learned just like the American public did yesterday. We did not have advance notice of this activity. Spokesperson Karen Jean-Pierre at a briefing Tuesday.
Yeah, this sounds like an Area 51 thing. Like, we don't know. Come on, who are you kidding? You're telling me one of your little lackeys that hangs down at the Supreme Court didn't run up to your little office and go, hey, this is what's going on? You may have not personally been down there and go, oh, this is what's going on.
Right.
But you're telling me one of your lackeys of the umpteen you have there didn't come back and tell you before it actually happened.
Right. I don't agree with that.
I don't believe that. I do not believe what the White House is saying right there. I don't believe that they had no clue. I could see if it was somebody outside of a former president, they may not have known. They're not going to know when you or I, like if our house got raided.
Right.
They're not going to know that. But you're talking about the former president.
And the last president.
Yeah, it wasn't like we're talking about Clinton.
Right.
Or any of them, or Reagan, or God forbid any of them. But
this is the literal last one.
The one president that seemed like the current people in office don't like.
Yes.
Because he was nothing like them. And he was more one of the American citizens than he was a politician. Okay, now I'm not going to go into that whole debate on this show because that's not what we're talking about. But I find that to be bullshit.
I can agree, yes.
That is bullshit. I do not believe that they didn't know. Go ahead and scroll down. We're going to talk about what could be the outcome if this is true.
Yes.
And he is convicted
of this.
What could happen?
So it says that he is planning on running again in 2024.
Yes, that's his plan.
And it said it. We skipped over that part, but I just wanted to mention it for you guys because this happens to go along with that. So what could this mean for Trump's prospects of running for president again? Legally speaking, the Constitution does not prevent a run by a candidate who has been indicted or convicted of most crimes. That could include mishandling classified info or violating the Presidential Records Act. One possible penalty for willfully and unlawfully mishandling public records can be found in Section 2071 of the U.S. Criminal Code, which calls for anyone found to have done so to be, and this is quotes, disqualified from holding any office under the United States.
So what they're saying here, the easiest way for Trump not to be reelected, which it seems like would be the case if he ran again,
is if he gets
if they find a way to get him convicted of willfully and unlawfully mishandling public records.
Yes.
Excuse me, public records. So, that would be the thing. The one way that they can get him from not running, not being, in office again, is to find this. I feel this. I'm not one of those people that believes in a whole lot of conspiracy theories, but this would be a prime example of that.
Ulterior motive.
Like an ulterior motive of, let's try to pin this on him. And we don't know if he
did this.
We don't know if he did it, but we don't know if he did it willfully and unlawfully.
Unlawfully is a big on the fence type of thing.
Yeah.
Because willfully, if he removed them from the White House, that's willing.
Yeah, he willingly took them.
But unlawfully? Now, I forget where exactly it says in here, because we were reading it beforehand, and it mentioned it.
Yeah.
That all of the documents, like handwritten notes, emails, all of that stuff from the president, when they leave office, has to be stored in the records.
Yeah.
There at the White House.
Right.
Or wherever that exact place is. I believe it's the White House. Well, if he removed them, that goes against that.
Yeah, it does. That would make it would be unlawfully withdrew it. So yeah, if he did that, if they find him that's what he did, then yes. Then he can be convicted of it. So, to go ahead and scroll down there was one more thing I wanted to talk about before we move on to our next portion of the show. No, the Constitution does not bar people who engaged in...
Oh, it does bar.
I'm sorry, that does bar people who engaged in...
insurrection or rebellion from seeking federal office. But there is not currently any indication that's what's at stake with Monday's FBI search.
Right. So we'll see what happens with this. If anything breaks, we'll bring you some more news with it.
We'll talk about this again if it comes up.
If something more comes up with it, like I said, we're trying to, we're
all internet and all of that.
All the internet webs that intertwine with social media and all that, because this hit Twitter. Hit Twitter Monday. That's where I heard it, and that's social media. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was like, but we went on the internet, looked it up to get a little bit more information on it.
That's why I looked it up.
So right now we're gonna take us a little break, and when we come back after the break,
we're gonna have a guest.
And we are going to talk about dating apps.
Oh.
And this caller had speaking of this caller, I'm not going to read that on the air. I cannot read that on the air because that's incriminating. No, I'm just kidding. This person has some stories they would like to share that they've heard, and I don't know everything that this caller wants to talk about.
All of the info,
but I got kind of a general idea, and I think it could be interesting. So we're gonna.
I personally haven't used dating apps, so this is going to be a fun conversation.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I'm going to play a song right here. This is one of our past guests.
Yeah.
Sean Michael K. Catch him out on all social media, YouTube, all of them. He's
all the
out
music
there.
streamings.
This is a new one I haven't heard. I just went to his webpage before our live.
Then I haven't heard it either.
And so this is called Lost in the Sand by Sean Michael K. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and we'll be back in, 3-4 minutes. You'll hear us when we come back.
Now I remember most things, but right now I'm drawing them blanks. It's like I polished off a bottle by myself. When or where was it that I forgot how to cry? It's like I'm over most things, and I've given it all the time it takes. And I believe that I'm moving on. The love that we had just ain't that strong. And our memories have become dust in the wind. And I can't remember what we saw or what we did. It's all lost in the sand. It's all lost, it's all lost.
Hey guys, Chappy over here in Chappy's and Junior's Podcast. Don't forget we're giving away a mug for the month. On how to get entered into that is to head over to Chappy'sFlockingPodcast.com to register a new account. You receive a free entry for that, no purchase necessary. There's a couple other ways you can get entered. The second way is to go ahead and refer a friend, have them sign up and mention you. It's another way. The third way here, guys, is go over to our shop, spend $5, and we'll give you 5 entries. It's simple. Now, the only thing here is we are running this until August 19th at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. That's 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Listen, guys, any entries received after that do not count. They are time-stamped when we receive the emails that you have registered to our account. The Saturday following the 19th, we're going to be doing a live drawing on Twitch, so stay tuned for that, and we'll let you guys know who the winner is live right in front of you. It's going to be an awesome time. Also, guys, we got a couple shout outs here. We have a sponsor for the month, Keener Precision Plastics. If you want any information on him, go ahead and drop us an email at Chappy'sandJrsPodcast at gmail.com. And also, the music that's been playing in the background, awesome artist. That's Sean Michael K. You can catch him out on all social medias. So give him a listen, check him out, add him, push his stuff out there. Anyway, guys, this has been Chappy from Chappy and Junior's podcast. Stay blessed, y'all. Hey, and we're back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that song there by Shawn Michael. Guys, don't forget about our mug, our coffee mug giveaway. Go over to the website, Chappy's Flocking Podcast, which that is going to change in the next few days, but the site itself isn't going to change. Yes. Just the domain name. Anyway, go over there and register to enter to get this mug.
You'll get 1 entry for free right there and then.
Yep, and then if you refer somebody, if they put your name down, you'll get an extra one. If you buy something worth $5 or more, for every $5,
you get 5 entries.
You're going to get 5 entries. Now, while we're waiting for
our caller,
so, like, is there been anything you've seen in the news outside of the Trump thing?
Outside of the Trump thing, there hasn't been anything that's been major, so to speak. And I haven't really noticed anything that's worth bringing to their attention at the moment. There's obviously some things. There's obviously going to be some things that they're going to want to talk about.
Right. Hello, thanks for calling Chappy and Junior's podcast.
How we doing?
Hey. Good, how are you?
Good. So who are we talking to?
Kirsten.
Kirsten, where are you calling from tonight?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Ooh.
All right. Right on. You're a neighbor.
Yep.
All right. So, as I said before the break, you wanted to talk about dating apps and the crazy stuff that happens there. So, you got some crazy stories you want to tell?
I want to hear it.
I mean, we're gonna give you the floor. Okay, let me give you a little advice. When we have callers call us, you have the floor, and you can talk about whatever you want. There's no restrictions. There's no filters. We give you guys the floor.
What you want to talk about is up to you.
So you got a hold of me and said you thought this might be a good topic, and I'm like, you know what?
I mean, just hearing it before this, it sounded like a good topic.
So, what do you got for us?
Well, okay, so, like, I'm a widow. And, like, I was married for 18 years, and dating sites was not a thing back then.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, there's, like, maybe one dating site, I think, that Match, I think, was, like, the big one that everybody talked about for years and years.
Yeah.
But now they come up with all of these, you know, like, Christian dating, the cowboy meetup,
there's like plenty
Facebook
of
dating. there's like 1,000 of these different dating websites, and it's kind of a cesspool.
Yeah?
Yeah, even Facebook has a dating thing on it.
Which I only learned recently.
It does, and like that's the one I started out with just because like I again didn't know anything about like dating sites or anything like that, and like guys will text you and be like, "Hey baby, blah blah, hey I really like you, let's go out," and then 10 minutes later they're doing inappropriate things, talking about stuff that you wouldn't like if you were meeting person to person.
So you got the all exclusive dick pics then before, huh? Just out of nowhere.
I have. It's funny because they send them to me, and I'm like, why would you do that? Like, what would possess you to think that that's exactly what I want to see on Friday night?
Right, especially if it's the first time you talk to them.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
So...
But...
Go ahead.
I mean, some guys are, like, really, really nice, and then you actually go meet them, and then they start talking about, like, all of their exes and how they've done them dirty, or how the girls have done the guys dirty, and they're like, I just don't trust anybody. I don't even know why I'm dating.
Then why'd you show up?
I'm sorry, what? Why are you even here then?
Right. Why did you even,
Why did you ask me out? Oh, I was bored. I'm sorry, what?
You were bored?
You were bored? You asked me out because you were bored?
They were bored. They just
my
thought that they
Lord.
were going to get a piece of ass and be done with it. And me being, like, old school, it's not like that. You don't just, like, get dibs on the first try.
Right. So, question then, do you think that dating apps have made it easier or harder to actually find relationships? Especially, because I'm 43, and to go out and find the time to actually go out and meet somebody like I did 20 years ago, it's nearly impossible because times have changed.
Because people are all in their phones. They, like, Facebook fighting. People fight on Facebook. People don't go to the person and say, hey, I don't really like what you're doing. We need to sit down and talk it out. Instead, they will blast each other on Facebook and make this big scene, and nobody ever resolves anything. And the same goes with, like, dating. You see somebody, and yes, they might look cute or whatever might be your type, and then you go meet them, and it's like,
completely
why
different.
am I even here? Like, literally, why am I here? Because this person has either shown, like, a lot of red flags of, I don't want commitment, I just want to sleep with somebody, I don't really want to be here, and if you're not up for it, then I'm just going to ghost you.
Which, that's a lot. It happens a lot today. It does.
It does. And it's because there's so many people that are behind their phones and don't actually, like, want to sit down and talk to somebody and get to really know them. Like, when I'm on a date, everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't put your phone downside because then people are going to think that you've got other people talking to you. I've got 3 children. I put my phone down. I'll tell them, like, hey, I'm going on a date. Unless it's an emergency, don't text me.
Yeah.
I put my phone down so it's black side down so that I'm not distracted by other people or things that might pop up on my phone.
Have that squirrel.
It's not because I'm trying to hide anything. It's because I don't want to be distracted by somebody, either texting me, like I got friends, they'll text me, stupid crap.
Yeah. I think
just to be funny.
Yeah, I think it's almost a disrespectful thing if not having your phone down, like you're saying. I mean, the opposite way, where you can see the screen. It's almost like you're looking for an excuse
to get out of that.
To get out of the date. So you're like, oh, phone call, I gotta go. So to me, that's disrespectful.
To me, it's disrespectful because then I don't care. Like if you want to talk to somebody else, and I've told people this so many times. If there is a choice between me and somebody else, pick the other person. Don't pick me. I'm not the one.
Right.
Because I am the type of person that if I'm with that person, I'm with that person. I'm not with anybody else. I don't care about nobody else. I don't want to do anything with anybody else. Not another male person anyway.
Right.
Agreed.
Like my friends, yes, I will want to go out with like my best friends because they're my best friends and we talk about everything. But as for another guy, no. If I'm interested in that person and that person is interested in me and we're together, you will never see me, like, hit on another person. You will never see me, like, want to be with another person. I will not flirt with another person. Usually I ignore men that come up and talk to me. And then they're like, why are you ignoring me? Why won't you talk to me? Because I'm not interested. I already got somebody. Thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I'm blind to the whole flirting thing. Like, somebody could be flirting with me and I have no idea because, like you just said,
I don't.
I'm like literally, I'm involved with somebody, so I turn the blind eye to somebody flirting with me. I don't know when you're doing it, so I've been told that a couple times by exes.
I've been that my whole life, and to me, like, I involve sarcasm, dark humor, stupid memes, jokes. Like, that's my flirting style. Right. I do not. I've had people tell me, "Hey, you're really pretty," and I'm like, "Okay, thanks." Because to me, that's not like a compliment. It's like I don't see what y'all see, okay? But if you want to sit here and be funny and joke and be comical and make me laugh, that's the way that you can get me because I like funny shit.
Right.
Like, I've had stuff like death to deal with and, that kind of thing that I would rather have somebody who can make me laugh.
Right, I get you.
I can see it.
So, getting back to the dating site thing, you've been on a few dates then, I'm assuming, from a dating app.
They are a shit show.
Okay, so...
No, let me explain something. Okay, so, right after my husband died, and this is something I had no clue. Like, I was completely, like, what? I got on, like, after about a year, because I wasn't, like, trying to find anybody to date. I was still trying to heal. So somebody was like, hey, they got Facebook dating. Why don't you try that? See what comes up.
Uh-huh.
It was 50 people that messaged me the day I got on.
Wow.
And I was like, what? Like, what? No, there's a lot of red flags. Like, Nope.
More than likely,
I got on Hinge, and me and my neighbor, because somebody had told me, it's like, hey, go on Hinge, try it. Like, you might actually, find somebody that you like or whatever. It's a bigger tool than just Facebook dating. And I was like, okay, whatever. I was like, I'll try it. So, got on there. I kid you not. In the first 8 hours, I had 157 people that liked me.
Wow.
I've never been on Hinge, so I don't know what it's like.
I haven't been on any dating app.
I laughed because I was like, this is a joke. Yeah. Somebody is pranking me. I don't find this funny. Like, this is a prank.
More than likely, most of them probably just trying to get in their pants.
Yeah.
I know that. Like, I figured that all out. And it's funny because, like, if you know me, that is like, no. That is the last thing you better, like, start talking about besides, like, what do you like to do? Where would you like to go? What's your, whatever. But trying to do that is probably, I'm like, is that all you're thinking about? Because if it is, I'll block you.
Right. So I have two questions. First is, what is the worst experience on a date that you've had through a dating app? Not an actual, outside of that, but just from a dating app alone. What's the worst experience you've had?
I think the guy was on crack.
The guy on crack.
Wow.
Did he try to steal your phone and sell it?
He wanted to take me out. I was like, cool. He seemed like his pictures seemed like he was a halfway decent dude. He talked, pretty normal.
Talked a
it
good
wasn't
game.
like a huge red flag. And I don't mind smoking pot every once in a while, whatever. It's just me. It helps with my anxiety. I have a lot of anxiety.
Right.
So we got up there, and at first he told me to meet him at this restaurant, and then he wasn't there.
Huh.
And then he was like, hey, just meet me at the park, which was just right up the road. And I was like, okay, cool. Maybe he had to move because, he wasn't with anybody and we weren't going into the restaurant, whatever. I didn't think, a whole lot about it. And then we sat there and we talked, and I was like, something's just off. And he just kept being very, shifty.
Jittery?
Just when something's not right. I got him back to that car, and I was like, he was like, well, call me, when you get home. And I was like, okay. Yeah, I texted him, I was like, I got home, and then I blocked him.
Huh.
Because I was like, nah, something is completely off about that whole situation. I don't even care what it is, but no, thank you.
Right.
I don't blame you.
I don't blame you there. So, second question is, you talked about red flags a second ago. What are some of your major red flags that turn you off of? What are they? I want to know them.
Okay, so if you get on there and you start talking to a girl or guy or whatever, and you're like, hey, baby, you just look so good. Red flag. No, because if you don't know somebody, would you in person, I think of it this way, if you would go to somebody in person and go, hey, baby, you look so great tonight, would that not just kind of give you a creepy feeling? If somebody just walked up to you randomly, not knowing you, instead of going, hey, how's it going? What do you do for a living? Niceties to start off with.
I mean, without the babe or baby or whatever, you look good.
Baby, gorgeous, goddess.
I can say that, I would think that if it was somebody you didn't know and they just came up randomly and said, hey, you're looking good, but if they put babe or anything in front of that or after that,
is definitely,
that's a red flag.
Definitely.
But it has become every time somebody does something really strange, and it starts off with, hey, gorgeous, hey, beautiful, hey, something. It's always, then they're like, so what are you looking for? And I'm like, okay.
I'm looking for the door.
I'm looking for somebody, to make memories with, to spend the rest of my life with.
Right.
It should not be that hard.
No.
But it is, because then they're like, oh, well, I have something to show you.
Picture time! So...
What do you have to show? And I've had literally one guy that I'm talked to on Facebook dating, and I blocked him because he literally, after 20 minutes, showed me a picture of his thing. And then, 6 months later, he hits me up on Snapchat. And I'm like, hey, your face, and the way that he had his picture, it was angled different, so it looked a little different in his face.
But
and I was like, and it was a redhead dude. So, like, I don't talk to that many redheaded guys.
Right.
At all. Because I have a very fiery energy. Redheads normally have, and I'm a redhead too, so like the whole fire.
Man, two balls of fire at each other there.
Oil and gasoline?
Yeah.
Huh?
Oil and gasoline.
Basically, yes. So, he hits me up on Snapchat, and I'm like, dude, I was like, you look familiar. And the red hair is kind of like what brought it about, because he had red hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I think I've seen you before somewhere. And it didn't, like, dawn on me just immediately. And I was like, no, I think we talked on, like, Facebook dating or something. No, I don't think I've ever talked to you before. Blah, blah, blah. Not even 20 minutes. It was probably 15 minutes. He said, hey, can I send you some pics? And I'm like, what?
Oh, God.
Like, what kind of pics? Same pics that he had sent me 6 months prior.
Wow. Jeez.
And I'm like, yep, I knew you were a red flag somewhere. I was like, and that's it. I said, you sent me the same pictures I said on Facebook dating.
That's crazy. So
And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah. I said, do something creative.
he tied it in a bow. All right, so we're running out of time, but I got one last question. It seems like you have lots of stories.
Right.
Do you want to be a regular on our Wednesdays podcast to talk about dating apps?
Sure, why not?
All right. The second half of our show on Wednesdays, we're gonna turn it into the love affair of what not to do on dating apps.
Well,
sounds like...
I've heard that, like, me and her compare stories just for the fact that, like, she's on dating apps too, and she'll probably kill if she hears this, but she went out with somebody that was a grandson of somebody's preacher.
Oh!
No.
Oh, that was interesting.
And that was, and if you knew her, she is fiery like me, and it was a running joke for about a week. You need to be with Jesus.
We're gonna have to get her on the show with you so we can hear these stories.
Right?
But we're gonna have to cut this. We're gonna have to cut it short. We're just about out of time. But like I said,
that's fine.
We'll get you on next Wednesday. I'll make sure that I send you. Make sure you have the time and stuff when we're gonna go live.
That's fine.
All right, Kirsten. It has been a blast. Love the stories.
Yes, it was a great one.
It's crazy, I tell you.
All right. Well, you take care. Okay.
Stay safe.
Bye now.
All right. Bye.
That's just crazy.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
I don't really
I
don't understand why guys do that.
I don't either.
That's just
I'd
never do it.
I would have to be in a relationship with somebody to do that type of intimate type
Picture type
thing.
Yeah.
It would take a lot for me to do it.
Yeah.
Or it would have to come up in conversation.
Even then, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, we're going to end this here real quick. I'm going to play one more song by Sean.
Before we do that, real quick, stay tuned tomorrow for the YouTube videos. We got them all back on track, and we will be releasing them shortly.
Oh man, it's about.
Oh
time.
my
God,
God,
that was crazy, guys.
But I worked my ass off and got them all set and ready for you guys. So keep tuned tomorrow for more.
Yeah. So all right, guys, it's been a pleasure. I just want to say one last thing. Be sure to make somebody smile.
Yes.
You don't know if it's going to be their last one.
all said it's make believe. You tell me pack my things and go. Yeah, I cannot conceive. This message is in my phone. I am trying to see where it was.